If you are 40 years and older, you should listen to this video in full. I had many accidents through my life because I'm 50 years old. So many things happen. I had maybe 2 or 3 car accidents. I couldn't. My back was finished. And the lady was very picky. Oh my God, you're gonna screw my sofa. Screw your sofa. I'm screwing my back. If you are 40 years and older, you should listen to this video in full. And it's really important because actually your life could depend on it. I'm gonna give you my story because today is it's been 30 days since I actually put my feet on the gym. I'm currently in front of the gym right now, and like I said, it's been 30 days since I started training at the gym. And I just turned 50 years old not long ago, and I was feeling very weak, sometimes depressed, especially that I had some issues with my back. To make the story not too long, because I don't want this video to go for too long, because I'm in front of the gym, I need to go actually train. But just to give you an idea, I stopped training for a while, and the reason being is because I had an accident. I have many accidents through my life because I'm 50 years old. So many things happen. I had maybe 2 or 3 car accidents, which actually damaged my back. And then when COVID hit, when the pandemic hit, I decided to start a new business. And my business was about a moving business. I bought a Econoline, a truck. It was not a huge truck, but it was big enough, maybe like 10 feet long. And it was big enough. And I had it, the purpose of buying this truck at the beginning was for me to actually use it for storage. I wanted to use it for storage because I had a bunch of boxes and stuff in my house and I needed some space. And then I decided to use it also for a business that I was running, where I needed to have space for computers and parts and all that. And that's the reason why I bought the truck. But I had many times the truck was just actually parked with a bunch of boxes inside, not really doing much. So one day I went ahead and actually I put an ad, and I said, you know what, let me put an ad and start maybe offering transportation services, moving services. And I put, like everybody, I saw what they were doing, and I saw, okay, $50 per trip, something like that. I can move boxes, I can move this, that, small moving. But it didn't work. I put my ad, and maybe I had one request here and there, nothing serious. So since I am a hustler, I said maybe it's time that I use a little bit of my brain and I try to implement some ideas. And I said, you know what, people are cheap, people are looking for low prices. I'm gonna come up with an idea, and sometimes you have to do like salesmen. Let's say you're selling something for, I don't know, $10,000 or a course for $5,000. What you're gonna do is you're gonna say, it will include this for like $900, and then it will include that for another $2,000, and then include that. So then you start giving value, and at the end you give the real price. This is how the funnels, they do their sales pitch. So I said, maybe I can use that technique. And this is what I did. I came up with the idea. Since my target is to get about 40 to 50 bucks, I said, per trip. Because anyways, the truck is doing nothing in front of my house. I'm not making any money out of it. It was just for, like I said, for storage. Maybe I can use it and start making a bit of money, and I didn't mind. So I said, let's say if I do 40 bucks per trip, but when I put 40 or 50, I got no calls. So I said, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break it down even lower. I'm gonna put it for $20. And the way I said, this is the way I said, for $20, I'll come to your location, and for another $20, I'll go to a second location. So that justify my 40 bucks. So you pay me from where I was to your location. Let's say it was a pickup of a table example. I go to the location of the table, that's 20 bucks. And then to bring it to the other location, another 20 bucks. It's gonna be 40. That's what I said. I put the area. I said I'm not gonna do it everywhere. I'm gonna put a certain area, and that's what I'll do. When I did that, I put my ad 20 bucks transportation. Oh my God, I started receiving, my phone went crazy. Bing, 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 bing. Hey, I have a table. Hey, I have a boxes. I have this. Hey, I have that. And I realized I live in a pretty big city. I think I consider it's a pretty big city. Maybe like 4 or 5 million people living here. So basically, I started getting a lot of, and when I did, it was actually winter time. It was maybe fall. I would say fall. So. And mind that everything was shut down. People were stuck at home. So that was my way for me to get out, because I say if somebody stopped me, if the police stopped me or something, well, I'll tell them this is an essential job. It was considered moving and transportation an essential job. So they never bugged me, because anyways, I was driving with a truck. Sometimes police were next to me and they didn't care, because it was a truck. Basically, I'm not driving a car. I was driving a truck. So I started receiving a lot of calls. I booked my first call actually, and the funniest part, the first client that I got was a student, and that's where I realized later, being the big city where I am, a lot of students are moving. Man, it's crazy how they move. I don't know, they get into relationships, they get into fights, they're moving all the time. I remember moving a student, a girl. I moved her like within a year at least 6 times, minimum 6 times she called me. And all the people, I actually had another, that's gonna be for another video. This lady, she separated from her husband, made a big scene. They almost fought in front of us and all that. Took her out of her house, brought us to another place. And then she called me 2 weeks later to bring her back to that place, to the same place. And then she called me again to move her again out. It was crazy, man. People are crazy, I'm telling you. Anyways, let me go back to the subject. So after I did that, I'll do maybe another video just for the business part of it, because this, you're probably gonna say, what, $20? No, trust me. I was making thousands in a week. I was making thousands thanks to that, because that was like a marketing way to just get them. But then I used to raise my prices depending on the location, depending on the item, depending on stuff. And I actually, because since they were hitting me a lot, I could pick this client, this one, that one. And I remember that first lady, actually, when she came to pay me, she was so happy that I did the job. I did it quick, fast. I said, okay, so how much I owe you? She goes to me, I said, okay, it's 20 and 20, that's 40 bucks. She gave me $120. $120. She goes, that's my tip. The rest is my tip. I'm like, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And that's the way you have to do. Whenever the universe gives you, don't refuse. Some people, they will refuse. No, thank you, it's okay. No, you gotta accept, because the more you accept, the universe say, okay, this guy is willing to accept, then he will give you more. That's the way I see it. That's the way I always run my life. Anyways, and that's just one example. The second lady, she had a little mattress, like very little, like I couldn't actually lift it with one hand. And I was quick to do the delivery for her. When we went to pick it up from a place, there was a security guard that was not nice. I spoke to him, calmed him down and everything. He let us out of the elevator because he didn't want us to use the elevator. At the end, we were able to use the elevator. She was happy that I spoke to him, that I calmed him down. And at the end, I did the job for her. Once again, she asked me, how much is it? I said, 40 bucks, 20 from one location, 20 for the other location. This one gave me $80. And she, wow, thank you very much. And that's how I started building my clientele, because then they started booking me for all the trips. So by going low, at the end, I end up higher. They used to pay me more. And also another thing that I started doing, that I used as a trick as well, in order to make my revenue and get the clientele. Whenever there were guys, I used to say, look, it's 20 bucks to go pick it up and $20 to drop it, but I don't help you. I'm sorry, because I already had some issues with my back, a little bit, not hard issues, but like I said, I had a couple of accidents, car accidents. And so I used to say, no, I'm not gonna, I'll help you a bit, but not much. And then when they had to bring heavy stuff, I'm sorry, man, I can help you, sorry. For at that price, I can. Then the guy actually say, okay, listen, I'm gonna give you another 40 if you help me. I say, all right, good. Then if you're gonna pay me, for sure, I'm ready to break my back for an extra fee. So that's how I function. At the end, I was doing okay. Until I was not doing okay, because I was learning the business was new, and I was learning the business. And actually what happened was, one guy one time, he wanted to move a washing machine and a kitchen apparel, and those two things are heavy as hell, I can tell you those things. And he was living in a second floor, and at that point, since I was starting, I didn't have the equipment, I didn't have the ropes or anything like that, so I brought that thing down. But the guy was also a young guy, he didn't have experience. At one point, we were holding it together like this, and he was holding his side, and I was on the bottom, and he dropped it. He stopped lifting, so the whole thing came on me. I heard my back pop almost. At the end, we finished the job and everything, but I knew I think I did that job for like $120, but it wasn't worth it, I can tell you that much. That started the issues. The next day I woke up, I could barely move, and I was feeling really bad. But then I had bookings over bookings. I remember I had another booking. The lady was ready to pay me $280 to empty her apartment, but she didn't have heavy stuff. She had boxes and bags and stuff, but still I called her and I said, listen, I won't be able to make it. I'm sorry, my back is hurting. She goes, no, you can't do this to me, you can't do this to me, you must come, you have to come. I said, no, I said, can you find somebody else? There's a bunch of other people, and I mean, you're paying okay. I mean, $280, you're paying good. Somebody is gonna be willing to do it, and you don't have a lot of stuff. She insisted at this, and I said, listen, I'm gonna come and I'll bring another guy, but you have to help also. I'm like, I told you that my back is not good. Come on. And then she insisted. At the end, she was really persistent. At the end, I went. I took an Advil, and then I went. But that didn't help, because of my first accident. Right after, started lifting those boxes and stuff that she had. It wasn't nothing major, but still, I was already in pain, so it didn't help. Then I continue. There were no major issues. I did it after for like 6 months. But one thing that I noticed is that I liked it to work in the winter, because it was actually cold outside, and by being cold, it helps against the inflammatory things. So I wouldn't feel the pain when I was outside in the cold, but when I was going back inside or at night, this is when the pain was coming back. Anyways, to make the story short, what happened right after was that I did a sofa, and that sofa was, I didn't know they had some electric mechanism inside, and I didn't take the time to search and everything. And when I went, it was so heavy, and we tried to do it without unmounting the thing. And now what I see that the guys, they unmount the whole thing, and that's how they're able to carry it. Let's say it's a 3-place sofa, they're gonna divide it in 3 pieces, and then that's the way they go. And then after, they rearm the whole thing. But I didn't do that, and that was basically almost at the end. We left that. I remember we tried to get it to the first floor. I couldn't. My back was finished, and the lady was very picky. Oh my God, you're gonna screw my sofa. Screw your sofa. I'm screwing my back. You don't care. I don't care about your sofa. I told her, like, to be honest with you, right now, it's my back. This thing is, you didn't tell me this was like electrical thing. I thought it was like a regular. You told me small, because they used to lie. All the clients, they used to lie. They said I had 1 box, at the end they had 10. I have 2 bags, and at the end they had 20 bags. I have a little table, at the end they had a full set plus all the stuff. They always were lying, never said the right thing. So when I asked her, she told me it's a small sofa, but she never said it was an electrical one with you can recline your feet and things like that. Anyways, that was one of my last jobs that I did, because I was finished after that. So at the end I sold my truck, but like an idiot I did one last one. This was already done. I stopped completely. I had to remove all the ads and everything. At that point I've done it for over 1.5 years, I think almost 2 years I did it, and I removed all because I'm like, you know what, this is not worth it. My back is not worth it to screw my back for a few $100s. I'm gonna be on a wheelchair if I continue. And basically one day I got another call from a recurring client. The same thing. She insisted, another lady, she insisted, I need that. It's a sofa, it's a bed, and it's a sofa at the same time. But I need you to come to help me because I don't have. She goes, I'm gonna use that as a bed because I don't have, and I need it for my kid and so on. Anyways, she played on my feelings, and at the end what I decided to do the job wrong day. There was a big snow that day, and what happened, I lift that thing and I slide with it and hit the pavement, hit my back. The sofa bed came on me because she didn't even have someone to help her out. She told me at the beginning her boyfriend was gonna be there, and her boyfriend wasn't even there. So at the end she lifted one side, I lifted the other side, and the funniest part is I fell, not her. I think I didn't have the proper boots or whatever, and then I just hit my back and I fell another crack. That took me out of business. After that, really it was done for me. I was done. I could barely lift 5 pounds. I couldn't walk properly. I was in bed, whatever. I was once sleeping in one side, it was hurting. I was sleeping stomach down, it was hurting. I was sleeping stomach up, it was hurting. It was painful, and I think it wasn't even my back at that point. I think it was my hip, because I felt on the right side of my leg. And I'm like, oh my God. And everybody told me, go to the hospital, go this. I'm like, man, I don't want surgery. I don't want this crap. I don't want, what are they gonna, for sure they're gonna subscribe a surgery. I don't wanna do a surgery. So at the end, I didn't do anything. So many years passed, for 2-3 years passed. It's been like now we're 2025, so it's been more than 2 years, 3-4 years that happened, and I still was bad. I was barely able to lift my toddler. I have a small toddler. I was barely able to lift like that, maybe 20 pounds, 25 pounds. I couldn't. I'll show you some videos where when I started training again, I was training with 4 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, because I couldn't. The pain used to come from the bottom of my spine until my neck. Couldn't even move my neck. I was like, what the hell, man? It's like somebody was pushing here on my head. So it felt really, really, really bad. And yeah, but I don't know. I wanted to do activities. I wanted to get healthy. So I started doing push-ups. I started doing sit-ups. I started doing all kind of exercise, like I said, with small weight and everything. And from home, I bought some weight and I was doing that at home, and I did that for a little while. But at home, it's not really motivating. Plus, I don't have all the space to do it. So at the end, 30 days ago, I decided to start coming back. I decided to come start training at the gym. And today's my 30th day. And now I'm lifting. I'm able to lift back as when I was in high school. Actually, I'm benching. I put a 45 plate and a 45 plate for bench press, and then I'm able to add another 10 pounds, maybe another 5 pounds. So that's like 60 pounds on each side, I believe, plus the bar. which before, when I started, when my first day at the gym, I could not even do the bar plus the 10 pounds. I was not able to do it. I was like struggling with it because, like I said, because of all my back pains and all that. Same thing for arms. I was trying to lift, I couldn't. And until today, I always have to sit down and put my hand like this in order to do my bicep, because I still cannot stand up and having a big weight. I'm not able to do the curls like that. If I do it, I know I'm gonna have my neck's gonna hurt or my back, so I try to avoid those. Try to avoid anything that, other than the bench press. I don't do shoulder press or the incline press, because that's really bad for my back and for my neck again. So, but it's important if you are 40 and older to actually go to the gym, and no excuses. Look, I had accident, I had back issues, I had problems, and for 30 days I've been constant. I took, in that 30 days, I completed today, it's my 30th day. I only took 3 days rest. And actually my son is asking me, hey Dad, are you taking rest days, I hope, to recover? I'm like, yeah, I take my rest day that I call, what I do is I do cardio, I do bicycle, and try to work my abs. Those are my rest days. So I don't lift anything. I just do the bicycle try to make for 20 to 30 minutes, and then I do abs. That's my rest day. But I actually, out of the 30 days, I took 3 days off, totally off. I think it's almost one per week, and one of the days that I took off was yesterday, because I was feeling, you hear my voice, I was feeling a little sick. But I said I cannot take more than 1 day. So today I'm back. I'm in front of the gym. I'm gonna go hit some chest, some biceps. So if you are struggling with weight issues, heart issues, back issues, whatever issue, you can, let's say your back is hurting, you can do, like I said, some cardio. You can do a little bit of walking on the machines. You can do the Stairmaster. You can do the bicycle. You can do abs. You can do all this stuff. If you have issues with your arm, then you do legs. If you have issues with your leg, well, do arms. Do something. If you're 40 years older, because I'm telling you, I've seen people dying and getting heart attacks and so on. So you gotta keep active. This is Hustle Money. Till next time, stay blessed.